Today we're going to take a look at a great old standard called Autumn Leaves because it's that time of year. And I've got the Fishman fretboard with me today. And so we're going to take this melody slowly. I'll talk about the melody a little bit. I'll talk about the chords a little bit and so on. We'll just do a very, very quick analysis. We're in the key of G, and we open up with a 2-5-1 chord progression in the key of G, 2-5-1, and then it goes to the 4, and then we do a 2-5-1 in the relative minor key. So the 2, it would be F sharp minor 7 flat. 5 is the 2 chord of E minor, and then to the B7, and then to the E. So 2-5-1, 4, 2-5-1. And then the second ending goes 5-1. And then we have a 2-5-1 in minor instead of 2-5-1 in major like we did in the first section. And then we have the 2-5-1 in major after the 2-5-1 in minor, right? So far, it's pretty easy to figure out. Then again, 2-5-1 in minor with a little bit of cycle, which we'll look at, and then another 2-5-1 in minor. So it's a pretty straightforward chord progression, and there's not a lot going on in terms of modulations, and complex harmony. But what we have here sure works very well. All right, so melody. So what we have, if I were to read the melody where it's written, I'd be down here. Okay, and as you can hear, the melody is very sequential. It always has a little scale passage, and then a little jump, a fourth up. Little scale passage, jump. And so on, and it just repeats that pattern, if you will, that melodic pattern, very sequential melody. Okay, now typically when we want to play a chord melody style, we have to take the melody up an octave, or else we don't have any chord below the melody. And what we want to do is harmonize the melody. So we're going to take the melody up to 5th position here. And I know I'm in the key of G major. So there's the melody, and I want to put a chord below it. How about A minor? And now I can hold on to the C and move to the D, and I'm using a D7 with a flat 9 instead. So we have holding on to that melody, and then this sequence we're moving down, and then the G major 7. C major 7, holding on to the same melody note. F sharp minor 7 flat 5, my root is right here. And then the B7 with a flat 9. You know where all your E minor stuff is. Let's do that again. All right, and then let's do one more time, and this time we'll go to the second ending. Now second ending F sharp. And, okay. Now here we are in the chart, and I'm going to move up here for my F sharp minor 7 flat 5. There's my B7 flat 9. So let's take that from that D sharp again. Okay, and now we're here. Or we could get that here. And underneath this, there's my G scale. It's good to know where that is. Okay, so here I have an F sharp minor 7 flat 5. We could do it like this. To the A on top with the chord below. And then B7 says with a flat 9. I could put the flat 9 down here. Or we could do this. There, and now here we go with this little cycle. We could just do D minor. There's lots of different ways to do that cycle. I'm just trying to keep the melody note on top. And then because it's an E melody on the top here, I'm using a G13 because it's the melody is a 13. There's that F sharp minor 7 flat 5 again. Looks like this in that position. And B7 with a flat 9. All right. I think we'll take a look at what we could do for fills here. And the fills can be very, very simple because it's largely diatonic, meaning it's largely coming from the scale of G or the relative minor scale of E minor. In the melody, you can see that we have a C sharp and a D sharp here. Those two notes indicate that here we're in a melodic minor scale, working our way up to the third of E minor. But everything else is, I don't see any other accidentals. Here's one accidental. Here's a restoration natural of this accidental, right? And that's it. So how does that affect how you would play fills? If I'm playing an A minor chord, underneath that A minor, I'm just playing a G major scale, C major, C major, F sharp diminished, which is just G major, and then B7. Now the B7, you would want to get the third of the chord, being that D sharp, which is also in the melody, right? You can see how melody and harmony are intrinsically related, and so you don't want to lose that in whatever fills you're doing. So B7, right? just sticking to the scale, right? I know it does tend to sound a little on the diatonic side, but it's just a nice way to begin filling. So a good bit of prep work to do with this is simply to work through your G major scales. Find out where they are. Sort of do a template of the stuff that's happening in this tune. A minor, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. So, fooling around in open position, it's not a bad idea to do that, just to find it where everything is in open position, comp your way through it. That's something that's sort of really important, because guitar players are often expected to comp for someone else, right? And so comping is a good idea in prep as well. So work your way through the G major scales. Here's my second position, G major scale. Here's my fourth, right? And my seventh position, and my ninth position, and then you can connect chords on the fretboard too. G major 7, G major 6, major 7, major 7, major 7, major 7, right? Very often, if I'm trying to just focus on right now, building that chord melody idea, but in order to effectively build a chord melody, sort of more of a solo approach, that you can play, as an arrangement for yourself. But to add to that, you should have a foundation underneath. You should know where everything is on your fretboard, so you're not just playing chord pictures and memorizing chord pictures, but you can take it further than that. I'm not doing any altered scales or any strange stuff. It's just speaking with the material that's being presented from the song itself. Okay, so, and remember, that we have, just simply 2-5-1s, 2-5-1s in this tune. Very, very little going on harmonically. As far as this little turnaround goes here, I mean, yeah, you can play this with that melody on top, or you can do substitutions. Or there's lots of different variations that you can do there. These just amount to being a 2-5-1, right? Like 2-5 in the key of D, 2-5 in the key of C. You can look at it that way, and you could use substitute dominants and diminished passing chords and all sorts of other stuff, because there's not a whole bunch really going on in the melody. You're just sustaining that B note. But once you've established the note, on the first chord, I don't think you have much of an obligation to continue establishing it. The listener sort of tends to fill that in especially with melodies that are this familiar. So you can play around this stuff a little bit. Just to recap what I did here. In order to hold this down, I'm just using in order to sustain that C note. I'm just moving to a D7 flat 9, which amounts to a diminished chord. A great chord to use. There's all sorts of different ways to substitute a diminished chord for a dominant chord. A diminished chord is essentially a dominant chord with no root. I was using it for the B7 with a flat 9. And don't shy away from open position. Very often open positions sound really pretty. I played with one guitar player and for several years, and he would always find these lovely voicings in open position, like this G major 7 or C major 7. So don't forget the open position. Just because you're playing stuff that's a little bit more on the leaning toward jazz doesn't mean that you should neglect your open position chords. Okay, I think that's it. Happy autumn and happy autumn leaves chord melody. I hope that this helps you get through a really lovely tune, and I hope that you learn some stuff by going through this tune. If this video was helpful to you, like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm immensely. Buy me a coffee. Buy one of my books, which you can get on Amazon, and please leave a question. I get back to all the questions with fairly lengthy answers. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you real soon.